Racing has taken a massive toll on the Sydney to Hobart, with more than a third of this year's fleet forced out of the race. The Blue Water Classic began with 88 boats. One day and wild weather later, 30 have now retired, mainly because of yacht damage, but one crew member has also been injured. The race for line honours is being fought between Super Maxis, Blackjack, Law Connect and Scallywag. Right now, they're just north of Flinders Island. Chris Rowbottom reports.
An air of optimism as the fleet entered open water yesterday.
Winds blowing about 15 to 18 knots.
That soon changed as southerly winds increased. That wind, combined with a strong current, smashed the fleet of 88 overnight as Sydney-Hobart crews returned after a 12-month hiatus. Some didn't last long. Oscana among those to limp back to Sydney broken.
I've done 8 of these and it's the first time I've ended up back where I started. So, yeah, it's tough.
But not before escorting a fellow crew to safety. 52-footer Denali cracked its hull. Oscana called upon to help.
One of the local TP52s had reported some pretty major hull damage, so we decided to go and stand by, and then in the end ended up following them into Wollongong.
Carnage on the high seas. More than a third of the fleet so far forced to retire. Some crew members were injured as boats were battered.
Once we got the boat under control, it was about a 15-second discussion of if we could continue, and unfortunately had to turn around.
And if it wasn't the conditions claiming crews, it was COVID-19.
We had a scare from COVID just before the start. We took a considered decision to withdraw from the race.
Purists welcoming the challenge, a Sydney-Hobart designed for the diehards.
The people that have done this rolling Sydney-Hobart yacht race this year could truly say they've done a Sydney to Hobart yacht race.
The 3 Super Maxis are neck and neck as they enter Tasmanian waters, vying for line honours victory. A winner expected to be crowned tomorrow afternoon. Chris Rowbottom, ABC News.
And Chris Rowbottom joins us now live from the Hobart waterfront. Chris, what conditions will crews face tonight?
Suzie, certainly easier conditions tonight compared to the ones that the fleet were presented with last night. Things expected to calm up significantly with the 3 Super Maxis already through the worst of the conditions. Those 3 boats, Law Connect, Scallywag and Blackjack, would be just off Flinders Island at the moment, preparing for a far easier night of racing tonight as they enter Tasmanian waters and continue this arm wrestle that they're engaged in at the moment down the east coast of Tasmania. Certainly no big southerly or current or that really confused sea state to contend with tonight. As for a finish, we're expecting a line honours winner to be crowned sometime tomorrow afternoon. We asked the Commodore of the Cruising Yacht Club of Australia, Noel Cornish, his prediction on when we might see a line honours winner crowned, and here's what he had to say a little earlier this afternoon.
What the prediction is at the moment, that they'll be down here sometime tomorrow afternoon. If they get easier conditions with reasonable wind, they'll be probably here, 2-3 o'clock in the afternoons. What the forecast predictions are saying, if they run into a bit of light wind, then it might be a bit later in the day. But that's what we know at this point in time.
So certainly no race record under threat this year, that's for sure. 35 boats now retired after dealing with those diabolical conditions overnight. The fleet significantly sliced down by more than a third. Nevertheless, we're still expecting a cracking finish down the east coast over the next 24 hours.
Chris Rowbottom, thank you. A day that started with a COVID scare for England ended with the tourists losing 4 late wickets to put Australia in a powerful position in the 3rd test at the MCG. At stumps on day 2, England is a precarious 4 for 31 in its 2nd innings and trails Australia by 51 runs.
Breaking news here, this could be massive.
COVID cases in the English camp meant the start of play was delayed by half an hour.
2 support staff and 2 of their family members have tested positive under a rapid antigen test.
England was given the all-clear to resume after the rest of the touring party took the same tests, which came back negative. It led to questions of whether the next test should be played in Melbourne rather than Sydney, which has been recording over 6,000 cases a day.
That's not part of our current planning.
When play got underway, England made up for lost time, removing the world's top-ranked batter.
Labuschagne out for just one.
Marcus Harris successfully reviewed an LBW decision, but the technology used in the decision review system left him cold. After a disappointing day one, England found some fight.
Got him! James Anderson breaks through.
Harris ended a lean run with his first 50 of the series.
Well played, Marcus Harris, repaying the faith in the selectors.
On a testing tour, things were finally going Joe Root's way. A maiden test century remained elusive for Harris.
And Root gets his third.
Australia had a lead, but England kept pressing.
Very close. And given.
The tourists couldn't quite grasp the opportunity to quickly dismiss the lower order.
Nearly stuck.
When Australia was all out, its advantage was 82 runs.
Mark Wood with his second, a good grab.
Late in the day, the difference between the English top-order batters and Australia was stark.
Oh, that's close. They like it. Australia confirmation. It's 2-2. Mitchell starts on a hat-trick.
Just when the spectators looked like they couldn't take any more excitement, Victorian Scott Boland took 2 wickets in his first over to leave England on the canvas in the Boxing Day Test. Duncan Huntsdale, ABC News.